Let's go through some turtle breakdowns from the top position, but we have to first and foremost define two of the most common ways that are structured, that someone will structure themselves in the turtle itself. We all know, or you all know, that turtle position looks something like this. You know, we're closed up, our body's closed up, but there are two ways that, in general, that someone could sort of have their stance be in turtle position. One, and I'll turn sideways so you can see this. One is a bit more of a head down, hips up approach, where my weight is forward, my knees are super wide, my elbows are tucked in, and my hands are like an X. And the weight is a little bit more forward. The benefit of this is that my feet are very light. This is sort of traditional jiu-jitsu turtle, because we're going to be sitting to the guard, we're going to be rolling to the guard, we're going to be using our guard a lot. So this head down, hips up approach is sort of standard jiu-jitsu turtle. I don't want to call it a jiu-jitsu turtle, it's a turtle position, but that's one of the more common ways someone might approach turtle position. The second approach might be a more heavy hipped approach, where head starts to come up, whether it's coming up to the feet or getting to a 4-point, or et cetera, a much sort of more wrestler-based turtle approach, where the goal of the person isn't necessarily to play guard, it might be to begin starting to stand up. And so that these two approaches need to be attacked differently, and that's a very, very important thing, is that if I use a stiff arm breakdown, which we'll talk about in a minute, if I use that when someone is head down, hips up, and they are really wide kneed, we're gonna have a real struggle, and I'll demonstrate that with Lance in a second. If I use my hip breakdown when somebody's head is coming up and their head is up and their hips are down, again, it might sit them to their hip, but they could easily stand up. So we need to make sure that we attack the turtle appropriately, because we're going to go over two very, very basic breakdowns that will cover the gambit, really, but each one has its specific application of when you use which breakdown. And I'll demonstrate that really quickly. And then on a different lesson, we'll go over the actual breakdowns. So if Lance's head is down, this is going to allow his knees to be very, very wide. And what happens is the knees stay very heavy. So if I use something like a stiff arm approach and I'm trying to bring him backwards, he's like a rock. He literally just doesn't really move at all. If his head is up and his hips are light, or his hips are down, his head is up, then if I use something like an elbow on the hip approach, he might just sit to his butt all the way up and then start to yip and then begin standing, having a move where, in sort of common referee's position, he just pops up, keeps his elbow down, hand fights, and he's up. So we have to make sure that we use the correct breakdown with